Hello, I'm Gabrielle Patterson, and I'm presenting my research paper on Ralph Ellison's book Invisible Man and how it connects to the Harlem Renaissance. Throughout the presentation, you'll notice how the background is a mountain, and that connects to one of my sources that I use in my capstone research paper, and it's called Racial Mountains by Langan Hughes, and it's the mountain is the steep that African American artists face, and we see this through the narrator's journey as he attempts to climb this mountain of social expectations to find his true, authentic self. In my first subtopic, I want to talk about the dark truth about the entertainment industry. What is the Cotton Club? The Cotton Club was a place where African Americans were often used as entertainment tools for white audiences. The club showed two different sides. One was beneficial and one led to negative. The beneficial was that it led to African American success, but it also led to white consumerism and also feeding into the white stereotypes, and it overall negatively impacted African Americans because media had portrayed African Americans as performers, like only into these performer roles, and oftentimes these performer roles were stereotypical, and it just limited of their identity as an individual. The blindness of society. Throughout the book, the society is blind to the individual, the individual as an African American's issue, and they often just turn a blind eye to what's actually going on in the community, and throughout the book, African Americans are only seen as a stereotype and only fit into what white people want them to fit into, and they're never seen as human. And if they are, it's like people laugh at the thought of that, the concept of it. And it shows a two-faced society, one that will only listen to African Americans if it benefits them, and then one that doesn't care and just thinks that they're the butt of the joke. Obedience at Bay. Throughout the book, African Americans have to play the polite role for white donors, and this is seen through their actions, the way they behave, what they show the white donors, and they are taught that in order to be successful in the South as an African American, they have to obey to white supremacy. They have to obey to what the white individual wants. They have to obey to what the white individual wants them to see. So they have to fit into the white individual's fantasy, and the narrator, he breaks this fantasy. He shows Mr. Norton, the white donor, the unpolished reality, and that's when Dr. Blitzo sees that his value disappears, and all the time he's been investing into the narrator just wasted. Throughout the book, Louis Armstrong, he is often mentioned, and music is often seen as this comfort, but throughout the book, the way that certain lyrics are picked out, what did I do to be so blue, it depicts that the narrator tries to fit into the stereotype, but he's not noticed. Even if he tries to fit in the stereotype, he's not, and he has to portray his own community in order to be seen by the elite, and he has to be in order to be successful, he has to go to the highest degree to be noticed, and that's seen when he acts polished towards the white donors. In the Langan Hughes, in the source, it shows internal racism because it highlights the desire to be an artist, not a Negro artist. And there's a struggle for balance, navigating between two different culture expectations, where one wants you to behave a certain way, or one deems you acting too black or too white, and the society's never happy of how you behave because they already have this expectation onto you even before they met you. And in that source, the Langan Hughes source, when the artist's message is overshadowed by the race, the message kind of dies in a way, because that's not the way the message was supposed to be perceived. Because the only thing that's bringing attention is not the message, but rather the physical feature of the artist, the publisher, the gatekeep. Dr. Blitzo says, "What we show them what we want them to see," and it shows how this is the survival strategy within the Black community. And once the narrator shows like an ugly side, he is no longer useful to the image that that Dr. Blitzo encouraged. A different slope. When the narrator moves to the north in order to search for the American dream, he discovers that race is still important. Like, when he gets the factory job, the other workers make to highlight colored in college, seeing like, oh, like these two words are intertwined with each other, or these are like a rare combination. And in the north, it's kind of, the racism is masked in a different way, and the narrator is exploited in like a business way. The climb to rebellion. The narrator he realizes his purpose isn't to entertain his oppressors, and he moves from being a tool to like rebelling against his oppressors. And then the view from the top to conclusion. So from invisible to self-evolution, and he's finding peace within himself, even though society is flawed, and the narrator is no longer defined by documents or white donors or stereotypical ways of people placing on these stereotypes onto him. And thank you for listening to my presentation. I appreciate it, and be safe.